Buying property as a foreigner in New York City is straightforward. However, selling is a different story. Let us explain both. Are there any New York City taxes on foreign property purchases? There are no special taxes levied on foreign buyers. Foreign buyers pay the same closing costs in New York City as domestic home buyers. This stands in stark contrast to many major cities across the world which have specifically targeted foreign buyers in an effort to curb property speculation and dramatic price increases. Are there any New York City taxes on foreign property sales? Buying property in New York City as a foreigner becomes a little more complicated when it comes time for you to sell. Besides having to pay the same closing costs as the locals, you'll be treated differently when it comes to federal capital gains tax, FIRPTA tax withholding, New York State non-resident capital gains tax, as well as the estate tax should you pass away. What is the capital gains tax for foreign property owners? Foreign property owners in New York City will need to pay both state and federal capital gains tax on their net capital gains. Your net capital gains are calculated by taking your original purchase price and adding closing costs for both your purchase and sale, the cost of any capital improvements such as renovations and repairs, and subtracting this cost basis from your sale price. New York State charges a non-resident gains tax of 8.82%, and the federal capital gains rate is up to 20%. What is the FIRPTA tax? Even if you lost money on your property investment, the buyer of your property is required under the Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act, or FIRPTA, to withhold 15% of the purchase price if the seller is a foreign person. Once the IRS determines that you're current on all taxes owed to the U.S. government, you can receive a refund of the excess FIRPTA tax that was withheld by filing a tax return. What if the seller is taking a loss on their property sale? There's no automatic exemption just because the seller believes they'll have a net capital loss versus a net capital gain. If you believe you should be exempt because there's no gain on your sale, submit IRS Form 8288-B well before closing. Are property sales under $300,000 automatically exempt from FIRPTA? The buyer must agree to sign an affidavit stating that he or she intends to live in the property and that the purchase price is indeed under $300,000. If the buyer chooses not to sign such an affidavit, then FIRPTA tax must be withheld. The importance of having a tax ID number. In practice, most foreign sellers are not able to complete Form 8288-B prior to closing because they don't have a U.S. tax ID number. Remember that you don't need a U.S. tax identification number in order to buy a property, but Form 8288-B requires sellers to provide an identification number. How does the estate tax affect foreign buyers in New York City? If you purchase property in New York City directly in your name and you pass away, any property valued over $60,000 will be subject to federal and New York State estate tax. The federal estate tax is 40%, and the New York State estate tax has a minimum rate of 16%. Foreigners don't enjoy any exemptions from the federal and New York State estate tax that U.S. citizens enjoy. Learn more about how you can get free advice from an experienced buyer's agent, plus save $20,000 or more on closing costs at www.hauseitnyc.com.